Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be reviewing a Nissan Pathfinder Rock Creek edition. Before we get in this video, I'm going to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Ken Garf Nissan here in Salt Lake City, Utah for giving me some time with this Pathfinder. I'm going to include a link to their website in the description down below so you can check out what they have currently. If you have any questions, just ask for Paul. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 20 around town and then 23 on the highway with power outputs being 295 horsepower and then 270 pound-feet of torque. Now, before we go over the front end, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So starting with the hood itself, you guys can see how it's kind of raised there on either side and then flat in the center. Looks pretty cool. And then you gotta love the split light design here with the new Pathfinder. And then look at the nostrils there in the grille. Pretty interesting. And of course got the Nissan logo. And then by the way, there are fog lights there at the bottom. You can kind of see them a little bit. Anyways, putting all together, there's the front end of the Rock Creek. Coming around the side here, our tire wheel setup is 265, 60, 18 in the front and over in the rear. And you guys can see here with the wheels, you got the silver on the top. Notice how it's blacked out there in the center. And those are some chunky all-terrain tires, let me tell you. Speaking of chunky, look at the fender flares, and then you guys can see Rock Creek there on the side, and then look at the cladding there on the side as well. And then if we take a look at the side profile, this is where you can see the rack there at the top, and it just has that cool kind of like lifted SUV look. Now taking a look at the key fob, we've got our Nissan logo there at the top, remote start, we've got our lock function and our unlock function as well. And popping open the hatch, you guys can see there's tons of storage space here in the back. Now the third row is folded down for those of you that are wondering, which obviously adds tons of storage capacity overall. Pretty similar to most SUVs in this segment where like with the third row up, you don't have a ton of storage space. Obviously with it down, you have quite a bit. And then something to note is look what third row passengers get. You got a little cup holder action there in the back, which is pretty cool. If you're wondering, you got straps and everything to pull the third row up. Now when you're all done, just pull this down and plop. Anyways, look at the taillights here. Those look pretty sweet. Got Rock Creek down below, and you can see how the badges are blacked out here, except for the Nissan logo, of course. And wrapping things up, this has such a cool look. Again, it has that cool off-roader appearance. Now, taking a look at the door panel, you've got soft touch where you're going to rest your arm, and then you've got tons of storage. And then here are the seats with the Rock Creek. You can see here with the trim on the outside, and then you've got like the cloth inserts there. I think that all looks really cool, and then your adjustments on the side. Legroom here in the back's really good. We also have a little storage pocket action, and then you guys can see we've got our own climate zone here in the rear. We've got some USB action as well, and then you can see with the storage space here, cup holder action actually, and then more storage right next to it. Interesting center console. And then headroom back here, it's good. Now as for the third row with the Rock Creek, again, it's similar to most crossovers in the segment, so legroom is going to be more cramped for adults. Headroom, however, is great because of the more kind of like boxy design of the Pathfinder, so I still would reserve it for kids though. Now taking a look at the front door panel, you guys can see soft touch here with the stitching that goes across, and then look at all the padding down below. We've got all of our window controls here with our mirror adjustments, door lock and unlock, and then we do have blind spot monitoring with the mirrors too. And then here is the front seat. It says Rock Creek, and then look at the cloth insert there, and then I love the trim here on the outside. I think that's all really cool. Power adjustments here on the side, and then you do have your steering assist as well. Now taking a look at the steering wheel, you guys see soft touch all around, and then look at the stitching on the center, pretty cool. Paddle shifters in the back for the 9-speed automatic. We do have stuff like adaptive cruise control. You got your volume control, some controls for the center stack, and then you guys can see the stalks there on the back as well. Now here's the gauge cluster. Just like a lot of modern cars, you can scroll through some different menus, see different bits of info on systems within the car itself. Pretty cool look overall with the gauge cluster. Now the fun thing is the different drive modes. So we've got a snow, mud rut, sand, and then the other side we have an auto, eco, sports, tow mode as well. So pretty cool setup. Now in reverse, we do have a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. Resolution's pretty solid. You also got that side view as well because this has a 360 camera system. We've got this camera button right here. If you press that, that'll pull up the different camera views, or rather, there you go. But you guys get the point. Anyways, well, now it's doing it. As I was saying, as for the rest of the infotainment system, we got analog controls here at the bottom. With the touchscreen itself, it does take a second for some of the things to respond, but I mean, overall, I feel like it works pretty well. I guess that apparently I don't know how to use this. There you go. So yeah, I'll let you guys form your opinion after that. So the dash is actually soft touch here, as you can see, and then look at the trim down below. We actually have a little bit of storage space above the glove box. And then you've got your dual zone climate controls here, heated seats on top of that. And then look at this, wireless phone charging pad, some USB action on top of that. And then we got more storage right here. And then here's our shifter for that 9-speed automatic transmission. We also have some cup holder action. And then you guys can see here for the auto stop start, turn that off. We've got a parking brake, auto hold, drive mode select with our hill descent control. And then Pathfinder here with the Rock Creek on the center console. And pretty big. And while we're on the topic of storage space, got the glove box as well. And also, this trim here on the side's really nice. Random point. And then up top, we got stuff like a sunglass holder, manual mirror dimmer as well, pretty standard stuff. So here's the winter sticker for this Rock Creek, again 2024. You guys can see all the standard equipment. Base MSRP $43,630. We do have some options on this one. $45,525 is the total MSRP. Let's see how it drives. Now, before we move on to the next feature, we need to talk about today's video sponsor, Morgan & Morgan. Now, believe it or not, the modern world is actually a pretty treacherous place. Every single time you go out for a drive, there's a chance that you could get into an accident. You could be walking in front of a business, they could have something on the ground, and you could slip and fall and hurt yourself. And on top of that, you could just be doing your job, right? Like you always do, and something could happen and you could sustain a major injury. This is a topic that's very important to me personally because I drive about 40,000 miles per year for the channel. And so there are a lot of situations that I'm put in on a day-to-day basis where accidents almost happen. Now, knock on wood, nothing's happened for years, but there's always the chance that something could happen. And this is where Morgan & Morgan comes into play. They are America's largest injury law firm with over 100 offices, over 800 lawyers, and over 4,000 case staff that are all ready to help you out. And one of the best parts about working with Morgan & Morgan is that things like the negotiations, the court hearings, and the research associated with putting together a case are all free unless you win. And so if you're involved in some kind of personal accident, whether it be a car accident, a slip and fall accident, or an accident at the workplace, then you might want to get help from Morgan & Morgan. And on a little bit of a side note, don't feel bad about hiring an attorney. Remember that you're suing the insurance company that is worth billions upon billions of dollars. They can more than pay for the compensation that you deserve. So if you are injured in an accident, then you can check out Morgan & Morgan at www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy, or you can give them a call at #529, that is pound law. Again, www.forthepeople.com/Ben Hardy or pound law. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both mirrors do have blind spot monitoring, and throughout the rest of the rear. And Pathfinder Rock Creek away. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this video, but it's probably gonna be something pretty controversial about like the 4Runner or something like that, just to get the Toyota people riled up. But I do want to talk about that in this video because I do think that there are quite a few use cases for this over a 4Runner that people might not be thinking about. So first off, seat comfort's really good. I love when automakers do seats like this where they've got like the inserts, because the material it's not as stretched out, and so it's just like you get more from the padding, so it feels better. It feels more comfortable overall. Ride quality so far is pretty good. Not going too fast though, so we'll need to kind of get up to a little bit of a higher speed to see more so how things are going. But yeah, some other stuff, I mean, the climate controls work great. I think that's definitely a big plus. And see how this V6 kind of performs getting up a little bit. Smooth the transitions too. So I think that's all good. And I'm trying to figure out a driving route here, by the way, guys, so sorry if I'm like half talking. I'm like, what's happening? Where am I? But good torque out of the engine. Do like that. By the way, the 295 ratings on premium fuel. I mean, it's not fast, but the 4Runner's not fast either. But I mean, it's smooth. This transmission, I do like this more than the 4Runners because it's smoother with the transitions. Whereas the 4Runner kind of, it's not bad, but there is a bit of a there is a bit of a lag with the 5-speed that's in the, you know, current 4Runner. And another little acceleration here. Vroom vroom. I love how this drives, and the damping's really good. Again, these beefy tires help out quite a bit with improving the damping. So let's sum things up here with the Pathfinder Rock Creek. I think it looks great on the outside. They did 10 out of 10 with styling. Now I do think that Nissan should offer like an aftermarket, like a dealership upgrade on the lift with this. I think that would be really cool. Just give people the option to have more ground clearance than what this has from the factory. But yeah, it drives really well, and basically this is great for like a lot of camping trails, and obviously it would double as a really good family vehicle. And here's the things that I see is, just like the 4Runner, it's got a naturally aspirated V6, it's reliable, so it's got that going for it. But this is easier to drive than the 4Runner because it's unibody, so turning is better. It's just more comfortable because of that as well. And so if you're going to be using this as like a day-to-day vehicle, then this would be a better day-to-day vehicle than the 4Runner, if that makes sense, because you're not conceding as much, right? It's not a truck like the 4Runner is a truck, right? So overall, love the Pathfinder. And this, in my mind, if Toyota went and built a 3-row 4Runner with unibody construction, right, that some people might say that's the Highlander, but the Highlander doesn't have an off-road package. So think about this as like an off-road packaged Highlander. I don't know, I think it's pretty cool, and Toyota doesn't build anything like this, but Nissan does. So check out the Pathfinder Rock Creek, the off-roader mommy mall crawler, I guess is what we'll call it.